Good morning. Good morning. How are you feeling? Mkaje, karibu sana kwenye show. Karibu sana to Woman Crush Wednesday. Rise today. I am your most amazing host, Nina Gikunda. Very pleased to have you here this very beautiful morning. This is our first Wednesday of December. Yes. Olafilaje, how are you doing? How has your week been? How is December? Mkona snacks, mkona pisa snacks. How are you feeling anyway? Mkaje, Olafilaje, wiki yako imekuaje? What are your expectations for December? Personally, I'm excited. 2022 is coming to an end. We blinked and that was it. Have you achieved? Have you managed to at least tackle half of your resolutions? What have you achieved in 2022? How has your year been? It's been a busy year. We have World Cup, we had elections. What else did we have? We had so much going on through the entire year. I hope you remembered yourself. I hope you remember to achieve yourself through the year. Once again, I am your host, Nina Gikunda, and this is Woman Crush Wednesday, Rise Today. Today we get to talk about two interesting topics. We get to look at modeling. What exactly is modeling? What exactly is runway? Why is it important? Why exactly do we have beautiful women just gracefully walking on walkways and entertaining people? Why do we have these beautiful women having projects and making the world a better place? What is modeling rather? What exactly is modeling? I will be having Azinath Omari. She is a model herself. She'll be taking us through modeling. What is modeling? Every particular question you've ever had about modeling, the downsides, the positive things, the benefits, the things modeling can do for you, whether you can do it as a career. Basically, every single question you have, you can send it to us. Our social media platforms are at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. Let us know what questions you've ever had. Ever, forever and ever. Maswali yote mwaikuwa nayo in regards to modeling, she will be tackling them. We are still on the hashtag 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So today is day 14, yes. Today is day 14. We have today is day 13. We have 3 more days. It ends on Saturday. Today we get to look at gender-based violence, but specifically amongst the youth. What are some of the beliefs we as young people have? What are some of the reasons young people participate or perpetrate gender-based violence? We have peer pressure. Some of them are still inclined with traditions. Most of them never grew up with vitamin no, so they don't know how to handle rejection. So sometimes they resort to violence. This is what we will be looking at today with our guest, Wesley Onyango, who will be taking us through gender-based violence amongst the youth. I will be taking you through some of the tips you as a young person can go through in regards to getting rid of gender-based violence amongst us young people. You have things like getting the message out there, interrupting abuse, stopping sexual harassment, developing an action plan, and very many other. There are about 10 to 15. So we'll go through each one of them and a little bit of some pointers and explanations for us to understand what we as a young people, what role we can partake in making the world a better place. It starts with us. It starts with us, the violence amongst ourselves, amongst us people, getting rid of traditional beliefs that some of us have been made to believe are the right thing to do, how to deal with peer pressure. You'll go out with your friends, they'll tell you, lazima mgonge, anakuongeleshaje hivyo, that's not right. So that's just a little bit of what we will be looking at today. And then later on, we will be having a fashion showcase by the School of Design here at KU. So stay tuned. We have quite some good things prepared for you, so do not touch that dial. But before we get into all that, we'll get into our traffic updates. Welcome back. We get on traffic updates from at Ma3route on Twitter. So MA3ROUTE is the place we get our updates from. You can always tag them. Make sure to tag us as well at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter. Let us know what the roads are looking like wherever you are. Tuambie barabaras ambazo uliko zinakaaje. We start with Before I get into the news updates, the traffic updates. Tumehamishwa stage ya basi za kwenda Western. They've been shifted to, about a week ago, they were shifted to the new bus station. What are your thoughts? You know, they've shifted in this a lot when people are traveling back home and back to Nairobi. People want to spend their Christmas up country, but then now the stage has shifted and there's people who are not very familiar with Nairobi. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Should they have done it next year, or there's no right time to do it? What are your thoughts? What do you think, especially if you travel? What do you think is the right thing to do? Thika Road is looking a little bit smooth. Thika Road in Asonga. We have Wayaki Way. Wayaki Way is looking a little bit kawaida. Today there's not much going on. Is it because kids are at home and there's not much business going on the road? There's not much on Langata Road as well. Not much on Gong Road as well. Today looks like a good day. I myself didn't get traffic when I was coming to work this morning. So it looks like it's a beautiful morning. So today we are all lucky. The roads don't have much traffic, but do let us know what the roads look like wherever you are. Kuna kaaje barabara ambazo liko. Send us any useful information that you may have to make sure you tag at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter and at MA3ROUTE, Ma3route on Twitter as well. Let us know what the roads look like. I will be coming back to you with the news updates. Welcome back. Today we get to talk about gender-based violence, but most especially amongst the youth, amongst we young people. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a perspective of peer pressure. There's a perspective of some of us have been brought up in ways that we have to believe in traditional methods of doing things, like men battering women, and in some communities, vice versa, men being battered by women in order to prove a point or in order to make things work your way. You know, in order to make something happen, people have been made to believe violence is the way to go. You have to show them how powerful you are. I have some tips on how you can prevent gender-based violence and a lot of inequality. We can look at being critical and question. Be critical and question how the society portrays girls, women, and men, whether on television, online, in magazines, or in music videos. The media and the society regularly uses images of violence against women and sexually exploits girls, women, and men to sell products. Write or email the company about their negative images of men, women, and girls, or don't buy their products. That means question everything you see. You know, sometimes the media influences us to do things. Like I said, there's the things that influence young people towards violence. There's peer pressure. I've seen here, there's media, there's the society, there's traditions. Be critical and question everything you do and everything you see. Don't batter someone because you watched on a music video that someone was being battered and things worked their way, or carry women a certain way because you watched on a certain movie that she was dressed like this and like that, and so she was treated a certain way, hence you think that's the right way to do. Be critical and question before you do anything. And if you see something and realize that it's not right, it's not sitting right by you and your morals and your perspective and how you do your things the right way. If it does not sit right by you, don't do it. Question what you do, question what you see, question what you hear. Be critical. I will be coming back with more tips. But before that, let's get into the news updates. Welcome back and into the news updates for today. Before we get into the news updates, follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. Let us know what opinions you have, what tips you have, and what are your thoughts in regards to gender-based violence amongst the youth, most especially. Let us know. And also, send in your questions. We're also talking about modeling today. So let us know, what is this you've always wanted to know? Ni nini hii umetaka kujua? There's someone here to answer all your questions. And into the news updates for today. Azimio la Umoja Coalition is expected to hold a public engagement meeting in Kamukunji grounds today. The members, under the leadership of Raila Amolo Odinga and different party leaders, have said that the meeting will be peaceful as they look to put pressure on the Ruto administration.
Raila Odinga has stated that the Kamukunji event on Wednesday is a public consultative forum and not a call to public protest. Odinga, who spoke on Monday 5th, said that the meeting will involve all Azimio parties, affirming that the coalition is still intact.
And that the meeting on Wednesday at Kamukunji grounds is a peaceful public consultative meeting. It is not a demonstration or picketing.
We wish to clarify that the party, Jubilee, is consulting widely with our coalition partners and will support any peaceful and sustained efforts at promoting good governance and accountability in the country.
According to the OCA members, the meeting is in line with Article 37 of the Constitution on assembly, demonstrations, picketing, and petition. The opposition chief warned that if Kenya Kwanza administration attempted to disrupt the meeting, it will have itself to blame.
We are not going to engage in any act of thuggery or hooliganism, and no property is going to be destroyed.
Meanwhile, Dagoretti North MP Beatrice Elachi has asked ODM leader Raila Odinga to look at his legacy so that it does not go down to the drain. Her statement comes after the ODM chief announced plans to have a mass protest on Wednesday. Wiper party leader Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka has warned President William Ruto against pre-rigging the 2027 general elections through the interference of the electoral body IEBC, terming the planned demonstrations as of public good.
Tutaenda Kamukunji on Wednesday, and we mean well for this country. We basically are saying, please do not pre-rig 2027 elections.
Government through President William Ruto have offered to give security to the Azimio public engagements so long as they are peaceful.
Hawa wajamaa ambao wangekuwa wanafanya kazi ya upinzani ni wale wale tunawajua. Sio watu wageni kwetu. Si ni wale tu wa maandamano wa kawaida. So mimi nimemwambia Profesa Kindiki aulize hawa watu schedule ya maandamano, ndio tuwapatie askari ya kuwachunga.
The opposition was ready to give President William Ruto's administration time to deliver its promises to Kenyans before starting off their criticism. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Moving on, the cabinet secretaries convened yesterday morning for their fourth session. The meeting was chaired by the head of President Ruto at State House, Nairobi. In the session, the cabinet considered various policy proposals that seek to anchor the implementation of the administration's transformative plan for the nation.
Kenya Kwanza cabinet convened for the fourth session at State House, Nairobi. The meeting was chaired by President William Ruto on Tuesday morning. The fourth meeting still beckons at a time when hunger is still instilling more anger in the lives of vulnerable Kenyans due to drought, famine, and continued rise in price of basic commodities. The meeting also noted that about 4.35 million persons are still in need of humanitarian assistance. In light of the persisting drought situation, Cabinet approved the scale-up of drought response aimed at alleviating the suffering of all households affected. The interventions will continue targeting vulnerable individuals and households with the primary objective of saving lives and preserving livelihoods. Last month, the cabinet resolved to forego their November salary to aid 4.35 million Kenyans who were hunger-stricken, and through a letter sent to the Secretary of National Steering Committee on Drought Response, Muremi Murage, the Secretary to the Cabinet confirmed that 17 million Kenya shillings had been transferred to the response kitty. As President Ruto and his cabinet are devising ways to end the famine crisis in the country, Ukraine is shipping more than 25 tons of grains to aid East African countries during these dry times. Ojwang Mariam for KUTV Prime Time News.
Moving on, National Cohesion and Integration Commission of Kenya has launched post-election peace assessment report dubbed Election Bila Noma 2022. According to the report, Kenya experienced peace and cohesion in the recently concluded general election, with the commission now proposing prioritization of voters' education among other recommendations.
Conflict remains one of the biggest obstacles and source of suffering in Kenya during electioneering period, but the 2022 general election was a different script. Kenyans showed great level of maturity during recently concluded August 9th polls.
Kenyans were rated as the most optimistic people in the world. There was no report of election violence in areas prone to violence, and I will argue that the country has made enormous strides in improving elements of cohesion processes, and in so no longer at the brink of precipice compared to previous elections.
According to NCIC post-election peace assessment report, early warning and response mechanism countering hate speech played a critical role in building a fabric society before, during, and after August 9th polls. Although today NCIC rejoices in peace and tranquility seen in the country during electioneering period, the road ahead still remains a bumpy one. The Dr. Samuel Kobia-led team is wasting no time in their quest to bridge the existing gap.
Citizens were the ones who delivered. What a big surprise for us was also the police. This was amazing. We would have never thought they could be present and discreet at the same time, giving reassurance.
In its recommendation, NCIC wants prioritization of voters' education. The Commission also recommends for the safety and wellness of Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission. This is after a number of IEBC officials were assaulted and 2 deaths recorded in August 9th election. The Commission further recommends split of 6 elective posts to be conducted in different days. The NCIC 2022 report dubbed Election Bila Noma shows increased cases of cyberbullying during electioneering period, hate speech and insecurity of IEBC official. The NCIC in its report faulted the Supreme Court of Kenya, taking issues with language used during presidential election ruling. As Kenyans reflect on 2022 general election, the challenge of reuniting Kenyans due to their political inclinations still remains a tall order. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
53 armed groups from the Democratic Republic of Congo that met in Kenya for the third East African Community-led Nairobi peace process have agreed to lay down their arms as Kinshasa finds ways to address their grievances, amongst them the removal of foreign armed groups from the country. This was one of the resolutions made in the final communique read out during the close of the week-long meeting at the Safari Park Hotel, noting that the process of finding a lasting peace in the region will take time. The facilitator of the process, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, said the resolutions arrived at during the meeting will be seeking to address issues that can be addressed within the short term.
Somewhere in Nairobi 1 in April, then we had Nairobi 2 where we engaged with armed groups and leaders of the civil society, and today you see most of them here. They maintain the ceasefire. They allowed humanitarian activities to happen in the regions under their control. Today, through the communique, you saw that they're all committed to release what we call child soldiers, and at the same time, they're all ready to continue participating to the PDDRCS program, which is a program of disarmament, demobilization.
Kuna jukumu zingine ambazo ni beyond yetu sisi. Kwa sababu kuna vikundi pia ambavyo vimetoka nchi zingine, na part ya process hiyo ya Luanda ni kuhakikisha kwamba hivyo vikundi viweze kurudi makwao, viweze kuwa na peace process kama hii ambayo tuko nayo hapa ya Wakongo katika nchi zao, na ndio tuwe na amani katika Kongo, lakini Kongo isiwe pahali ya nchi zingine kuja kupigania.
In other news, President William Ruto has appointed 20 High Court judges after receiving a nod from the Judicial Service Commission. In a statement, the JSC said they had finalized the evaluation process of the candidates interviewed for the positions and were picked based on merit, gender, regional balance, and affirmative action. Among those appointed include Gishohi Patricia, Josephine Mongare, Patricia Nyakundi, Diana Kavedza, Sophie Chirchir, and Mwaisha Said. Others are Sifuna Nixon, Heston Nyaga, John Chigiti, Peter Mulwa, Lawrence Mugambi, Gregory Mutai, Robert Wananda, Samuel Mukira, Francis Ocheng, Freda Mugambi, and Dennis Magare. Florence Masharia, Teresa Achieng, and Alim Visram have also been appointed. A hearty congratulations to the ones that were nominated. We hope to see what they will be appointed. We hope to see good things that they'll bring to our country in the coming, the term that they will be sitting on their positions. Moving on, members of the Meru County Assembly have initiated another motion seeking to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza. The MCAs once again accused the embattled governor of irregular appointments, nepotism, and unlawful dismissal of county officials. The notice was read by Dennis Kiogora, a member of the County Assembly of Meru, representing Abogeta West, and the Minority Chief Whip, proposing to move the motion in the County Assembly of Meru. Key among the accusations leveled against Mwangaza include appointing her husband, Morega Baishu, as the patron of the Meru Youth Service without conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. As we move on with our stories, beekeeping, referred to as apiculture, is an agricultural activity that is beneficial to humans and the ecosystem in generating income, food and nutrition security, and in provision of pollinators, which enhances crop yield, among other benefits. In Narok County, the Free Pentecostal Fellowship of Kenya has sponsored 25 beehives to a women group to enable them earn income, boost their livelihoods, and empower them.
A group of women at Ewasonyiro area in Narok County has benefited from 25 beehives in a program sponsored by the Free Pentecostal Fellowship of Kenya. The women group, dubbed ESIPIL, received the beehives as an alternative means of earning an income and boosting their livelihood. Narok Livestock Officer Jacinta Washira, who trained the women on beekeeping, said that the women will earn an average of 1.6 million shillings annually from the project.
The beekeeping project is a friendly project. It is quite good for women because it is environmental friendly. It is good for women. It cannot interfere with their time. A woman can just go her own ways, do her other projects, and still benefit with the bees. Maybe I can just say a slight overview of the bees. For example, this is an apiary that we have set here today, and we have set an apiary of 25 beehives. And the estimated value per year is around 1.6 million shillings.
The program's coordinator, Kasaine Olepartoip, said that their aim is to empower women to access and control resources, as well as empowering them to leadership and decision-making opportunities, adding that apart from the economic gains, the women are also trained on being role models to their girls so as to reduce cases of early pregnancies in the county.
We are empowering women on three key areas. One is access and control of resources. Two is leadership. And three is decision-making in the community.
Sylvia Kaelo, one of the beneficiaries, lauded the church for such an initiative, saying that apart from empowering them spiritually, they were also empowered economically.
Hata tunaweza kusaidia wazee wetu kwa kujua ya kwamba tutatafuta njia gani ya kuwasaidia ili hii mahitaji ya familia isiwe tu ni wazee tunaangalia.
Kenya has great potential in beekeeping, as 80% of the landmass is classified as arid and semi-arid, regions that have an abundance of flora such as acacia trees and other factors capable of supporting a bee industry all year round. Jacqueline Wanjiru, KUTV.
Welcome back. We have come to the end of our news updates for today. Thank you so much for staying with us up until this far. You can keep sending in your feedback at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram is where you will get us. You can send your feedback, send in your opinions. Let us know how you're feeling this morning. We have a conversation with Wesley in the next few minutes. We get to look at gender-based violence amongst the youth, what causes it, things you can do about it, your opinions about making the world a better place as a young person, considering the youth are the anchor of the society at the moment. So you as a young person, what is this that you can do to make the world a better place? So do send in your feedback at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, at KUTV Kenya on Instagram, and at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter. Tuko hapa tunakungoja. Do not touch that dial. We will be coming back to you. Send in your opinions, send in your questions, everything that you would want us to know, your personal opinion in regards to gender-based violence amongst the youth, and what you are doing personally during these 16 days. What have you done differently? What change have you made? What step have you taken to make the world a better place? We will be coming back to you after this short break.
Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Teach us about the Active chapter.
So last year, July, you know, when you're by yourself, you think you're doing well, when you're finding your 12 hours of work, or you can feel like a podcast. You think you're doing well.
Yeah.
And so I was invited to this community, and it's a community of young entrepreneurs who meet every Friday to exchange business through a concept called strong word of mouth. Once you educate yourself, now it's self-awareness. Ask yourself, what are my goals? What is my budget? Where do I want to start? What do I prefer? Do I prefer shares? Do I prefer cryptocurrency? Do I prefer forex? Probably you have answers. You don't like stress and then you want to do forex.
Sasa sote tuko sawa, nchi moja yenye usawa, tunasonga mbele pamoja. Nobody's left behind. One love, one people, sustainable health for everyone. NHIF inafaidi jamii, strong as one, strong as one. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo, afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo, afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. NHIF.
Tuesday tunakula usiku. Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza zikinai tujinai siweke story kata maji pia shada liko nasio nikosa msuko si stress kama rende kisha basi nipe najua ni
Big up, brother, ukiwa Adriva, big up, sis, big up, shows, mama, big up, oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
Whatever me say no, I know, no, I know, dancing meshika mashinani, kila choche kila mtaani, dancing naleta burudani. This is
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us up until this far. like I said earlier, today we get to look at gender-based violence, but this time amongst the youth. We are on the hashtag 16 based violence that ends on Saturday the 10th, which is this coming Saturday. And with me, I have Karibu sana.
Asante.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yes.
Karibu sana kwenye show.
Thank you.
Take us through who's Wesley before we get into the conversation for today.
Wesley Tom is a student at Kenyatta University. Currently in my final year, doing Bachelor of Arts in Gender and Development Studies. I'm also the chairperson of Kenyatta University Gender Action Movement. It's a club within KU that deals with gender issues and also how to ensure that the university, especially the student, know about gender issues. On the same, I'm an activist, an apologetic one actually, but my focus is on youth and governance and especially the boy child. And also I'm an entrepreneur. Yes.
All right. We have the perfect person for today's conversation. Gender-based violence amongst the youth. What do you think is the main cause for gender-based violence amongst the youth?
So just to begin with, gender-based violence is any type of violence perpetrated to any person due to their gender. So there have been a number of reasons why GBV happens, but the key thing is the reason why it continues to occur is because youths do not have the information about what a GBV is. So many times they get violated, but they don't understand that this type of violence. So that is a major reason why. And also we have the issue of power dynamics, being that there's somebody who's bigger than you and the one smaller than you. It helps propagate that. On the same, we've got cultural beliefs and aspect that also has participated a lot in that, because your culture says this, you have to ascribe to that, and that one ensures that a lot of GBV cases increases. On the other hand, also when you come to the issues of religious, so some religion might make somebody get violated just because you need to follow some certain cultural norms, certain religious and doctrines. So these are the key reasons why the key challenges that we have that has made GBV to get propagated so much into youths. Yes.
There's also the aspect of the young people. Most of them have not properly learned how to embrace no for an answer. Most of the young people don't understand how to embrace rejection, hence how we've seen a lot of murder cases, especially in relationships. How do you think, or what do you think can be done in regards to that in particular?
Just maybe for us to find a solution, we should know where the problem is coming from.
You can start by that. Why is the problem?
So in psychology, you have something called fixation. So fixation is a place whereby during the stages of development, an individual never cleared the stage. So these things, the behaviors comes and propagate themselves in the near future. So that's why you get these people do not know the right method to solve their problem. So at some point they sort to murder because they can't stand seeing the person they loved leaving them. But this is something that started from their home. Another reason is GBV that happens within home, that is domestic violence. Maybe somebody was brought up in a family where there's a lot of violence, he was violated, but throughout his life period, these people never seek some psychological mentorship or counseling. So they end up becoming perpetrator because they want to do the same thing they were done for when they were young. So it comes something called inferiority complex. So when you find somebody that you can do something to them and they can't react back, then you take advantage of that and do that, because at the end of the day, there's nothing they're going to do to you. And also, you're finding a place whereby you can take revenge for what you have done for in your past years. So what we always advise individuals, just in case you have gone through GBV, the best thing is to seek for guidance and counseling, so that you are taught on ways on how you can relieve yourself, and to ensure that these cases do not repeat, and also to ensure that you don't become a perpetrator in the near future. Yeah.
So as the young people, we the young people rather, you've talked about fixation. These people who cannot afford to go get therapy, like you said, go talk to someone or go get the help they need. What other things can they do to learn how to accept the no for an answer, or learn how to walk past a heartbreak, or how to walk past such kind of situations?
For me, I think with the current generation, I don't think if getting psychological counseling is very difficult, because these are things you can access within your institution of learning. You can access them within the religious groups that we have. You can access them within youth groups, mentorship. So you can access them from the government. Actually, there's a plan to have counseling being offered within our hospital. And also NHIF is planning to have it as a package, so that when you're covered under NHIF, it's very easy to you to seek psychological counseling. So these are things very easy to get. But also in the digital world, it's very easy to know and find ways of non-violent peace resolution through checking on the internet. And also what we really advise young people to do is speak up. There's no need for you, when you're done for something wrong, you keep silent, because when you keep silent, the anger will continue rising, and you'll find yourself killing somebody. So you rather speak up and get help. The social media is there to really help, and I believe the social media has helped a lot of people come out from these GBV issues. Yes.
Okay, social media has its positives, but it also has its negatives. You've seen social media being a perpetrator of violence as well.
Yeah.
How do you think you can tackle? How do you filter the information as a young person, the information you consume, especially from social media? Like earlier on, I read a tip on how to identify. Don't do the things that you see or hear or watch, yeah? But then how can you as a young person stay away from all these things, especially the negatives on social media in regards to violence?
I believe that goes back to learning. You need to understand what is good for you and what's not good for you, and that's what will able to ensure that you pick the right thing. So it goes back to morality. So that's why we are really urging youths, let them go for learning, because through learning you get to learn morality, also religious, for those who are religious. But within the social media, it's just too good for you to know who to follow and who not to follow, and who to get the right content. But also we are calling for multi-stakeholder engagement, to have even the government have ways to punish those who are propagating GBV, especially within the social media, the cyberbullying. Because actually it's been really a lot. So just to call and for us to have policy against such things, and will ensure that they reduce. But the most important thing, if you need to stay safe, then you need to stay away from the negative aspect within the social medias.
There's things like body shaming, like you said, cyberbullying, and it's a lot. And it goes both ways. There's the things women say to men and the things men say to women, which is, I could say, gender-based. Is it gender-based violence?
Yeah, that's gender-based violence. Yes.
How do we work around that? Tutakosana pale Twitter and someone will say some things and you will just walk past it. We go, we laugh, and no one cares about the one who's been told the negative things, and we move on to the next one.
So that one goes back to psychological counseling, especially on anger management. So we are really urging individuals, let them go and get these lessons. They're free within online. You can know how to manage your anger, and you can know what to say. So we'll always talk about constructive feedback. There's no point for you to give a negative feedback. And human beings are social human beings, and I believe you'll want to be told something negative about yourself. So we should learn about giving constructive feedback, despite how harsh they may be, but let it be something constructive, something that will not diminish the other person, because maybe today it might be you perpetrating GBV to someone else. Tomorrow it will be you. So it's ways of finding what to say and what not to say. And just in case your anger rises and you say it, then find a way to apologize. Because you never know, you might end up in a court for saying something, because those are evidences that will be used against you while saying something, because social media is something that you cannot erase the messages you send via social media.
So where are these places we get this information from? Where do we get these lessons? Where do we get this therapy you've talked about? You said we get them online. We can get them where exactly?
There are a lot of non-governmental organizations that offer such things. One, we have Pathfinder. It offers free counseling services to youths, and there actually some mapped hospital within Nairobi. In each and every constituency, there's a hospital whereby you can go and get free counseling services. Kenya Red Cross Society also offers free counseling services. You just need to dial their hotline number, and you'll be given free of charge. You have Action Aid Kenya that also offers counseling services. And something good about it, it has got a youth cafe in each and every sub-county. There's a youth cafe, a place whereby youth can come and interact, and you can share out ideas on how you can be able to learn. Because something interesting about youth, they learn through their peers. So the platform already existing. It's enough for the youth to come up to this platform and get able to learn.
Right. So moving forward, there's drugs and peer pressure. What role is drugs and peer pressure playing in regards to gender-based violence among the youth?
I can say drug is the major factor that plays out, especially when it comes to GBV, because once you're on drug, these things that will affect your mental judgment. So you might be able to find yourself doing things that you couldn't believe doing, but this is because the issue of drug. And also drug might come as a result of GBV. When you have been in your home, there's a lot of domestic violence, and like you're trying to find ways to relieve yourself, and like you're being told, take alcohol or take a bang. So these are things that when you continue taking, you think that you're going to get relief, but rather it's causing you more pain, and that's where you'll end up youths, especially in physical violence. And that's been majorly a lot when it comes to boys, and it affects a number of boys. But peer pressure, it's 50-50 because it depends on the peer group that you are in. So you just better be in the right group that will fit you to avoid wrangles if you're to succeed in life. Yes.
So do we deal with it? What do we do about it?
It's just to tap into the existing channels that are there, because we can't say we want to create something new. So tap up in the existing channels with the youth groups that are already existing, because I believe that a lot of youth groups within the country. There's one called a Young Urban Movement. Actually, it really helped them a lot, because these were women who are young, and they were really finding challenges to access water because you need to pay. So they realized a way to come up with a solution. They gathered themselves and brought a solution, and they had a currency whereby they can purchase water easily without somebody violating them. So what we are advising youth is let them join the youth spaces whereby they can interact, because these youth spaces are there. Actually, most when you go to the NGOs meeting, you're being told that there are a lot of programs that have been launched for youths, but youths are not turning up. So it's just to call upon them, let them turn up to these things, and just in case somebody's on drug and requires rehabilitation, there are some organizations that offers free rehabilitation services. There's one within Kawawendani. It's free of charge. So let them tap into the existing channels and ensure they get help as soon as possible. Yes.
Right. We also have violence to the youth by the older people, like in workplaces, in school, like you get students being sexually harassed both ways. Like as a man, you don't get your results, or you fail because that female lecturer wanted something and you did not give, and vice versa. The female student does not get the results because the male lecturer wanted something and she could not give. So how do you deal with such situations? Because that's also gender-based, sexual gender-based violence. How do you deal with that particular situation, considering that this is from the older ones to the younger ones?
Actually, that has been a major challenge when it comes to power dynamics. We have that the other person has got power and the other one has got no power. So what can you do? Basically, the kind of violence perpetrated due to power dynamics means is only sexual harassment and also political violence. So beginning with sexual harassment, that is basically within our institution. I believe there have been existing channels to find solution. Actually, we have got a movement called Campus Me Too that deals with that, and they came up with 5 student-led demands. And through the study, they collected signatures and took a petition to the parliament, and the directive was sent from Ministry of Education to each and every institution to implement this thing. So what calls for us is to check on the implementation if it's going on within our institution. And Campus Meet will be holding a press conference that is on 10th, the climax of student of activism, just to look and assess the situation. How is it? There's a directive that was given. How far are the institution from implementing it? So it's just to look at the existing channels and ensure that you are able to find solution. Also, another challenge comes when it comes to during political violence. We have looked in the past general election, youths were used to cause violence, and at the end of the day, they do less suffers, whereby they are being killed, and also we have got police brutality. So this one calls for us to come up with policies that will really help us. Because around last week, there's a student who was killed by police in Machakos University.
Yeah.
So you see, these are difference of power dynamics. That's why we call youth. Let us come together, because there is power in numbers, and when we're united, we can't be broken. So we're calling youth to come up together. Let us follow through our county government and national government, what existing ways are there for us to get help. And if they're not, then if we should be given those platforms to ensure that we implement these policies, because I believe the policies are there, implementation is the problem. But it becomes a problem when the people who are in power are not implementing them, and also as we are just quiet. So there is a big challenge, and we're calling to action for us to go and ask them what is wrong and let us implement the policies that are already existing.
There's also the aspect of in the workplace where young ones, especially interns, get harassed by permanently employed individuals. So they take advantage of the younger ones, considering wanasema ni interns. So wanakuwa harassed, wanakuwa mistreated, they don't get what they're there for. Like, you're here to work and get your letter or be able to, build on your experience, but then you're here getting harassed and there's nothing you can do about it. How do you also work around that?
I think the Constitution is clear when it comes to Sexual Offences Act of 2006. When you are being violated, especially at the job market, they should be able to report that to the police officers and action will be taken. I think the Constitution currently says that the imprisonment of 3 years or a fine of 100,000. But we're working on that policies to ensure that the fine is really higher, to ensure that these perpetrators can get afraid from that. And also, if you find it very difficult to report these cases, rather you report it and you're being told you're being taken right and left, then what I can advise somebody is just quit that space, because there's no need for you to stay in a space whereby you're not having personal peace. So just rather quit that job. You'll find a job. If you are fit for the market, you'll find another job. Yes.
Right, you're the chairperson of the Kenyatta University Gender
Action
Movement. I'm so sorry, Gender Action Movement. Maybe take us through what you've been doing for the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
Actually, this year we have not done much because a lot of examination that is going on. But on Friday, during the start, we had a launch and a walk around the school. We're just doing campaign and letting to know the KU community about the series of what's ongoing. And at the same, we had a panel discussion on these issues, and our focus was so much on youth, but we rather place it violence within Kenyan University, because that's where there's a lot of challenge, and this is where I will determine how the violence will be. Because maybe you are violated by a lecturer and you just keep quiet. If you enter to the job market, you find a small position, you can see this one what you can use against small people. So we always discuss that, and we do always have a Twitter chat and Twitter spaces just to further the conversation within the social media. Yes, on Sunday we had a community outreach just was to have a conversation with people outside there, because these are people our parents. So it's just a few number of that, and we do always partner with different movements outside there. One of them is Campus Me Too, whereby they'll be holding their press conference on Saturday. We'll send a few members to represent us and to ensure us we can know how to follow up with the KU administration concerning the directive that was given from Ministry of Education. Yes.
What else do you do in through the year now, other than the 16 days? What else do you do all around the year in regards to curbing gender-based violence amongst the youth, rather?
We do hold trainings, especially on sexual harassment. We do teach comrades what is sexual harassment, and most importantly on how to collect these evidences, because that evidence, it's very difficult for you to get justice. Apart from that, we do have mentorship programs, especially for female students, to ensure they get easy access when it comes to the KU politics, and at least to have their number increased within the CUSA. Apart from that, just capacity building also for our members and other members, because gender issue is something that it's not widespread. It's just a section of the students who are doing that course are aware of that. But what we do is to ensure in each and every course we find our representative, we train them on gender issues, so that when it comes to the after remark, because these are the next leaders, these are the future leaders, they should be able to know about the gender issues. And the same also do always have sexual SRHR trainings on sexual reproductive health, so that they should be able to know, and we reduce cases of early pregnancies and students getting violated, especially in the relationship sector. Yes.
There is a positive and a negative for everything.
Yes.
And we have a lot of women empowerment out here. these women who are empowered and they become over-empowered to the extent of undermining, underestimating, and mistreating men, which is also gender-based violence. What is your take? What do you think? What do you think can be done about it?
I think that calls into action for us to check which approach are we using when it comes to empowerment. Because even when you look into the history of how feminism came about, we had radical feminism who never wanted to do anything to do with men. But as time changes by, you realize that when we want to cause change, we can't do it with one segment of the society. We have to involve men. So what we call from now going forward is that we need to have men involved in empowerment issues of women, so that we bridge the gap. So we can't talk about having gender equality yet we only empower one segment of the society. Rather, what can happen is that when you continue doing this way in the near future, then we'll be talking about men getting empowered, but we don't want to sort that problem. So we want something to be sorted once and have the empowerment done once. And rather, even what I check is that at some point women are not disadvantaged, but a certain segment of class is disadvantaged, because even at men at some point are disadvantaged. So we rather tackle this issue from a different angle and looking at every person who is generally disadvantaged despite their gender, so that we empower each and every person equally. And that goes back into socialization. So when you're having our children being socialized, then they should be able to know the issues of men and women issues. So they get socialized as one, because we can't have empowering older women, yet we have younger people who are coming up who are not being empowered. And thus we are calling for our youth to be given spaces, because when youth are not empowered, then the gender parity increases. So we want youth to be given these spaces, youth to get empowered.
The youth are empowered, yes, but the girls are a little bit being empowered more than the boys.
Yeah, so it calls into action, and that's why we're having this engagement to see on what we can do. But rather, what is happening is that we need to escape from the word women empowerment, but rather empower those who are less privileged. Because when you're having marginalized communities that do suffer, a lot of people from the rural areas, people from informal settlements. So we focus on it as a class issue, not a gender issue. Because a woman in the top tier class does not require empowerment, because she's someone who can access and control resources. But what about those people in the lower class? Both men and women cannot access any resource because it's being propagated through the capitalist system. So it's just for us to check the approach when we're doing this empowerment, and to ensure that we empower both men and women for us to reduce the gender parity.
It's just finding the balance between empowering both the men and the women.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also the aspect of traditions. Most of us, most people have been brought up knowing that because I'm from this or this culture, this is how men treat women and this is how women treat men. But then most of them are negative practices towards gender. And there was a new one I saw a couple of days back. There's a new theory. There's the FGM for women, yes, but then there's a new theory that is now MGM, male genital mutilation. I don't know if people have seen it, whereby a particular percentage of people feels like normal circumcision of young boys, channeling them from being boys to men, is harmful. What do you think? So they feel like young boys should not go through that process of circumcision into being men. The kawaida, when they finish primary, they go through that process, then the healing process, and then they heal, and then as they get into high school, they are now men. So these people who feel like a female genital mutilation is the same as male genital mutilation, and they are basing it as gender-based violence, as a traditional malpractice. What do you think?
I think that is just overrated, because when the war fighting against FGM started, there's an issue whereby they were claiming that if men move from traditional circumcision to the modern circumcision, then they should be aware whereby you can move from the FGM to a more modern female circumcision. But when you look at the health implication for both, realize that for women it's really high, and it has got no benefit compared to male circumcision, but there's a lot of benefit for it. So I think those are just people who are finding ways to ensure that FGM still stays by just making comparison with the male circumcision. But I believe for male circumcision is more something that is very good and has got a lot of health benefits to men. So it's not something that should be placed on debate.
On the table.
Yeah, it's just something that it has to be there. And what I believe is optional because it's not in most cultures. And nowadays circumcision doesn't mean you're a man because there's some boys who are born immediately after birth that they get circumcised, not to make them men, but rather to just ensure that these people have good health. Yeah, and that's why we're moving. We want to change the method of socialization so that we don't look at cultural practices to define who a man is, but rather how the socialization is and what values as a boy do you hold that will make you fit the society as a good man.
So we say no.
And we have to say no to that.
Okay, all right, thank you. As we are winding up, something you can say to the young people in regards to ending gender-based violence, coming against gender-based violence, especially as we come to the end of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
I believe what I can say to them is that to young youths who are listening to this show today is that we should be able to tap into the existing channels that are existing for us to get help and also ensure that we should not be used to propagate political differences during general election, because at the end of the day we do suffer a lot, and we realize that we have got few spaces when it comes to the government, within the government. So we need to call and follow up with our legislative arms and tell them why we have few spaces, and they should be able to increase a lot of spaces to us. Also have got relevant policy that will protect us against this kind of GBV. So just call into action. Let us come together, because when we're united, there's a lot we can do. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for your knowledge and your time. Where can we get you on social media? How can people be part of your organization?
Actually, you can meet us on social media and join to us. But those within KU, we always send our links into WhatsApp messages. But outside there, I think there are a lot of places where you can interact. For me, within Facebook, Wesley Otange, Twitter, Wesley Tom _12. Those are places where you can find me easily and we can continue sharing the conversation. Also, those will find time to come to the press conference that will be at ZTech University. That is on Saturday as we climax the issue of 16 days of activism. It's a good place where you can learn and interact and create an lasting network. Yes.
Social media handles?
Wesley Otange, that is Facebook and Instagram. For Twitter is Wesley Tom 12.
All right. Thank you so much, Wesley, for your time and for blessing us with your knowledge. Tumeshukuru sana. I do hope you've learned something, you've grasped something. You can keep sending in your feedback. We will be coming back after a short break with our conversation with Adinath in regards to modeling. We are shifting a bit in regards to modeling. What is modeling? Why is modeling important? What is the essence of modeling generally? Allow me to read some feedback. We have John Marambu tuned in from Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, Kakamega. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mash Dairy Goat Farm. Who are those feeling that FGM should be done to our girls for them to be women? In this day and age, those must be dealt with by the government and myself. I agree. You can keep sending in your feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mashdiri and John Marambu, and everyone else. You can send in your feedback at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. Talk to us. Let us know your thoughts and your feelings and your opinions in regards to today's conversations, but do not touch that dial. We'll be coming back to you after this short break. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sending in your feedback and staying with us up until this far. Earlier on, I had spoken about the tips that you as a young person can apply in regards to hindering and curbing and coming to an end, coming against gender-based violence. You as a young person, you're a backbone of the society. There's so much you can do. You have the zeal, you have the energy, you have the time. So we can look at stop sexual harassment and interrupt abuse. If you see a guy grab a girl or push her into her locker or the matatu, anywhere, say something to stop his abusive behavior. If one of your female friends is intoxicated at a party and being led away by a guy, stop him from being alone with her and help her get home safely. Interrupt the abuse. Do not stand by the perpetrator. Do not be a bystander. Interrupt abuse. Stop sexual harassment. Don't engage in any forms of sexual harassment, such as catcalling and unwanted touching, and be empowered enough to speak up against friends and peers who do. Again, do not look the other way. Do not be a bystander. No matter what you do, be the one to call for action. You're stronger than everyone else, yes? Another one is stop victim blaming. This one especially, stop victim blaming. Don't blame girls and women for how they choose to dress or judge their behavior. Violence can't be prevented through limiting the freedoms of girls. Just because she's in a short dress does not mean that she has given you a green light to touch her inappropriately, catcall her, or treat her in an ill manner. Just because she's in a shorts or she's dressed in a provocative manner does not give you as a man the green light to treat her as you please. We had My Dress, My Choice a couple of years back, and it did not please many people. This allows the violence to continue because perpetrators become invisible and they're not held accountable, and those who witness the abuse remain silent. So stop victim blaming. Do not ask, na wewe ulikuwa umeenda kwake kufanya nini? Ama na wewe ulikuwa unamwongelesha kwa nini? Na wewe ulikuwa umevaa hivyo kwa nini? Hapana. Why are you not asking the perpetrator, na wewe ulimguza hivyo kwa nini? Did she give you the green light? Did she give you consent? Did she give you the right to touch her inappropriately? Do not be a bystander and do not be an enabler of a perpetrator. Be the change that is needed. So right before we get into modeling perspective of our today's show, we will be looking at the Kenyatta University Fashion Show by the Kenyatta University Department of Fashion and Design. Do not touch that dial. We will be coming back to you with that in a short while.
Kenyatta University will hold its 52nd graduation ceremony on Friday, 16th December 2022 at the main campus along the Thika Superhighway. KUTV will provide live coverage of the graduation ceremony from 8 a.m. The graduation ceremony will also be streamed live on KUTV and KU website, Lola app, and all KU social media platforms. For more information, please contact the Office of the Registrar Academic on 020-870-3092 or 0786335111 or visit the KU website at www.ku.ac.ke. Kenyatta University, transforming higher education, enhancing lives.
Sasa sote tuko sawa, nchi moja yenye usawa, tunasonga mbele pamoja. NHIF, nobody's left behind. One love, one people, sustainable health for everyone. NHIF inafaidi jamii, strong as one, strong as one. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo. Afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. Usawa ni umoja. Usawa ni upendo. Afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
But umesema you've seen steps, huh? So what do you have for them? Unaweza waambia nini? Unaweza ambia nini prezo ama deputy president ama anyone around the government mwenye anaweza come through to see ama to help artists?
Mimi ninaweza ambia gava iendelee tukisupport artists, itupatie hizo ma platform, hizo ma function, watuite tu tuna perform, tupatie muziki nyingine poa pia tujivunie kama Wakenya.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rise Today. So today we are here at the BSCC grounds in Kenyatta University to see what the fourth year fashion and design students have in store for us. The theme for this year was Culture Meets Urban, and the unit was Modeling Techniques. They have a lot in store for us, and my name is Ashley Asachi. Let's get this started.
I've been with my designer. She took the measurements. They have designed the fabric now. This is the now. Yesterday we did the fittings, the choreography on how we were now going to showcase the outfits, and now today is the big day.
My name is Nasiran Sharon. 23 years old. Why this outfit is unique compared to others is, how do you say, it's based on content creation. So really the designer really focused on her creativity as well as the patterns that will bring out the body shape of a model. I practiced for 2 weeks. I was aware of the show 2 weeks before the show, and I got to practice it and also do some research, do the fitting with the designer, get to know other models and also the judges.
I have been preparing for this event for I think 3 weeks, and it's been a very vigorous process, a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning, but I'm glad. I look good and I feel good in what I've made today. Interestingly, I got this from Kikuyu culture, like this cloudy effect. There's a myth that they have in the Kikuyu culture that there are 3 colors that identify the culture: blue, white, and brown. So blue would be for the sky, so I wanted to do something that had all the shades of blue for the sky. The belt, which represents like something that holds it together, which for the Kikuyu is the soil. And then white, which meant God, and I wanted to do something cloudy that is where God is, ideally, is what we think when we're children. So yeah, I wanted to bring that out in this outfit. The necklace is actually my mother's. She gave it to me and she was like, this looks really good with the outfit. So this is just something that was thrown on last minute by my mom, and yeah, and it came together quite nicely. What I'm wearing today, I made in a day. I didn't have patterns. I looked at it and I draped it. I think using draping for me is what inspires my creations. This is draped, this is draped. This might be the only constructed thing, but everything else is draped. And using draping is very good because it flows with the body contours and it makes you it accentuates the curves of your body. So I think draping is what makes me exceptional. In terms of role models, I'd say Wande Gishuru from Vivo. I interned there for 3 months and I loved the process of how they come up with their garments, how they use their prints, which is actually why I wanted to do something that looks like a print but was not a print. And I think for her, the approach that she's taking into making clothes for Kenyans is somewhere that I think Kenya is going, and I love the direction that she's taken.
My name is Letitia Joy Halachi. I'm a fourth-year student in the fashion department. I've been preparing for these events. First, I had to get the designs, my source of inspiration, what is going to help me get the designs that I'm wearing. And how I went about that, I chose to go with the birds. Yeah, the peacock. I find them so fascinating, the colors, how they open up their wings. So that is what my dress is depicting today. Yes, basically that. I like to leave a statement. When I go somewhere, people should remember what they actually saw me dressing in. And also the stitching, the manipulation of the garment. I believe I gave my best.
My name is Shyam. We've been preparing for this event for almost a month, but you know I'm not the designer, so she definitely took long. Yeah. If you can see from the coat, there's triangular shapes to represent the Kikuyu Hata. So we used to sit down, brainstorm before we came up with this idea. And also the color schemes, as you can see, from navy blue to light blue to normal blue, white and brown, all patched up. Apart from the outfit, there's also the model walk. And that requires a lot of confidence, a lot of preparation. So I think that will give us an edge.
Saying that this is going to be such a breathtaking experience, but for me it was definitely more than that. Find this whole video on our KUTV Kenya YouTube page. My name has been and will always be Ashley Asachi, and until the next time we get to hang out with 2023's fashion and design students, adios.
Welcome back. I really do hope you've enjoyed that fashion showcase by the Kenyatta University Department of Fashion and Design. They normally have an annual showcase of what they've worked on the entire year. So I really do hope you've enjoyed it. I really hope you've grasped something into the fashion sense. They were doing a little bit of tradition and Western, putting them together. I've enjoyed. I had a particular piece I really loved. It was white and some gold. Very beautiful piece right there. All that work has been done by KUTV, the KU Fashion and Design team, brought together and been patched up together for you to enjoy. We have a conversation in regards to modeling, and that's all we've watched for the past almost 45 minutes to an hour. So today we get to talk about modeling. We have an amazing lady with us. She's a fashion model. She'll be taking us through what is modeling. What are the aspects of what we've just watched? What does it take for you to be one of those fine girls, those beautiful women, and those handsome men we've seen on that runway? What does it take to be that? What does it take to get there? What are the requirements for you to be one of those people if you have a dream to be a model? What are the requirements that you need to be one of them? So do stay tuned. But before all that, allow me to read you some feedback. We have Boniface Ngugi following the debate live from Thika Road. A man needs not to be violent with his woman. It is a manifestation of a punctured frame. You always have a choice to stay or to leave. Violence is not inevitable and it will cost you more. I feel like you can run away from violence. You can run away from violence. I feel like it's possible. You don't have to stay. We have Frank Zaga. I'm glad did follow the bait. I'm hooked watching from Kasarani bila Kisirani Vilinafa. Tusikuwa na Kisirani. Let's be peaceful. Angela Silayo, pure glamour and creativity on the runway. I love it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Up until this far, do not touch the dial. I will be coming back to you with our modeling launch. Welcome back once again. Thank you so much for sending in your feedback. Thank you so much for sharing with us your opinions, your thoughts, your questions, everything you've sent in. I am grateful. I have Azinath with me in studio, looking very gorgeous, looking very glamorous. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm humbled to be here.
How are you feeling?
Nervous, very excited.
I'm also excited to have you here. What do you think about what we've just watched? There was a lot of runway modeling, which is what you do.
Yes, it was amazing. The designs were great and the models were gorgeous. And I feel like the high fashion is really fun and interesting to watch and even to participate.
What do you do exactly?
I'm a runway model.
High fashion or pageant?
Pageant.
Pageant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I do.
So what's the difference? Before you tell us the difference, maybe take us through who is Azinath.
Okay, my name is Azinath Kwamboka Omari. I'm a student at the Technical Training Institute pursuing agribusiness. I am 22 years old. I am the current Miss Popularity Peace Kenya 2022. Yeah, and I started modeling this year, June. And I'm glad to be here.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Now, tell us the difference between runway pageantry and high fashion modeling.
For high fashion modeling, anyone can do that. It's always about what you're showcasing. Can be wigs, weaves, can be bags, can be shoes and clothes. So it's always about what you're showcasing. It's not about you. It's about the designs. It's about the designers mostly and whatever you're showcasing. But for runway modeling, it's about you. Your creativity, your walk, your smile, and the judges are judging you. Yeah.
It's you. So runway modeling is you. You're selling yourself as a brand, but then high fashion, you're selling designers.
Designers, the brands.
Oh, nice, interesting. So what is modeling generally? Let's start from the beginning. What is modeling?
Modeling is just showcasing yourself and showcasing, exactly as I said, runway is showcasing yourself and high fashion is showcasing the designers and the clothes and everything that you're branding. Yeah.
What are the rules? What are the rules of modeling?
Okay, it depends. For the high fashion, I think the rules are not that many. You have to agree with the designer. Yeah, I think the rules are just not that many. But for runway, you have to, there's a theme for every event, so you have to, everything you're wearing has to go with the theme of the event, and you have to be disciplined.
Before we get into an event, you as a model, what does it take for me to be a model?
Believe in yourself, confidence, know the strengths and the weakness of your body, know what you want to do, Like, do you want to do a runway? Do you want to do high fashion? Like, be sure what you want to do and be confident and put yourself out there. Go all out. Yeah, that is what it is.
So for the individuals who don't know, like, whether they want high fashion or whether they want runway, where do they start? Like, they don't know, they just want to be a model. Like, maybe they feel like they have, there should be sizes. I know there are sizes. Like, there's height, there's, for instance, let's use Miss World Kenya. Miss World Kenya, I know there's a particular hip size.
Yes.
You could have the height, but if your hip size is ikipita by at least even 2 inches, you're done. Hata huwezi ingia. So what are the requirements in terms of like sizes, heights, skin tone, hair? There's even others I've seen that there's agencies that don't take you if you have permed hair. You have to have natural hair, things like those. What are the requirements really?
Okay, first,
where do you start?
Technically, anyone can be a model, but those requirements. Okay, for a runway model, we have plus size models. So for plus size models, you have to be a plus size. That is one of the requirements. And when you say a plus size, like you have to be a plus size. But then
maybe people don't understand. Plus size starts from. Let's use UK sizes. They're the most common. There's, I think, 14.
Size 14. I'm not sure.
It is 14. I think I read somewhere it's 14.
I am not sure about the plus size models, but I know if you okay.
No, let's not talk about plus size. Let's talk about now where you are.
Yes. Okay, for me, qualification for a runway, you have to be tall. Okay, you have to be slim. That is what people believe. But yeah, you have to be slim. You have to be tall. There's those requirements you have to meet. Like for Miss World, your waist must be 28. Your hips must be this, and then there's height. But they always check your height.
What is the height requirement?
It can be 168 centimeters. Yeah, but anyone can be, even a short person can be a model.
How short is short?
5.
Okay, let's do the standard. The standard. What's the standard height?
I am 5'6".
You're 5'6".
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the standard. Because I am short. Yeah.
Oh, because you're in heels.
Yeah, I'm in heels. Yeah, I can't even contest from Miss World because I am short. Yeah.
What about matters, hip size, waist size, bust size, and the likes?
28. For waist, you can go from 28 to 30, I guess. Okay, it just depends. It just depends with the agency you're working with or with the event that you're or with whatever you're contesting.
Take us through maybe the do's and the don'ts of modeling. What are the do's and don'ts of runway?
Okay, let's start with the do's. Go all out. Understand the theme of the event. Go all out. Train yourself. Mingle and just socialize with other models to hear, as in be open to hearing correction and learning. Take every opportunity, every chance, the learning experience. Just be humble, be responsible, as in those are the do's of a runway, I guess. Then the don'ts. Don't. Okay, what are the don'ts? Okay, they're not that many. Just
I know some like these things you're not supposed to do, like when you're getting into runway. Let's use Miss World. Miss World is the most common. The rules are the most out there. Yeah, we have diets. We have shoes you're not supposed to wear. Things like those.
Okay.
Like for instance, what I've seen, there's the shoes you're wearing, and there's the shoes I'm wearing. I can't get on the runway.
Yeah, you can't get on the runway. You have to have a block heel.
Shoes like yours.
Yeah.
Those are the don'ts I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't wear a chunk heel in a runway.
Yeah.
Don't expose yourself too much if you're a lady. Like, don't nudity, all that. Like, as much as you're trying to showcase something, try to be responsive. Like, let people respect whatever you're wearing. Don't be too exposed. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about benefits of runway. What are the benefits of being a runway model? Maybe you can tell us. Like, you started in June. What are the things you've gotten? What are some of the benefits you've experienced from, that's like half a year,
yeah?
The experience you've had for the past 6 months, the benefits that modeling and runway has brought to you.
Okay, first, it's your personally, it's my happy place. You learn a lot, and you build your confidence. That is one of the confidence, because now you're in your runway and everyone is watching you, so you build your confidence. You learn, you meet a lot of people. If for me, if you can't speak, some of us don't even know how to open up, don't know how to talk. But when in a runway, you can speak through whatever you're wearing or whatever you're showcasing, your creativity, you can speak through it. So in that way, you get to learn and you get to be responsible. You get to learn and know more about modeling and even know more about yourself. You get to know your weaknesses, your strengths. When you're a runway, you know, okay, my smile is my strength, so I'm gonna use it. My walk is my strength, so I'm gonna use it. So yeah, you get to learn a lot.
How
And
has
you-
your sorry?
And you meet so many people, because when you're in a runway, you give it your best because you don't know who's watching. So you give it your best. Even if you don't win, someone may be watching, a designer or just someone, and they may take you and work with you. Yeah.
Take us through the day-to-day life of a model. Take us through a day in the life.
Let me
of
take you
Azenith.
through my life. Okay.
Yes.
Working out. Okay.
Start from morning. You wake up in the morning.
Okay, I wake up in the morning, maybe do house chores. I'm in school, so maybe I'll go to classes. Then after that, I always have training back at school with Royal Models. So I go to training, and maybe work out once in a while. I won't lie that I work out daily, no, once in a while. And about watching your diet, I really think it depends with your body. If I know if I eat these, I'm gonna add weight. But if I eat these, if I don't eat these, I won't add and I won't lose. I'm just gonna remain the same. So I think for those who watch their diets, you have to understand your body first. Yeah, I think that is what I do daily.
You've mentioned you work with royal agencies.
It's not like it's back at school. We have a group. It's called the Royal Models. Yeah, I work with them.
So it's not an agency?
No, it's not an agency.
What's the difference between a freelance model and a model who's under an agency?
Okay, a freelance model, you are independent. You're not under any agency. It's just you. You are flexible to work with anyone. But if you are under an agency, you're working with them. You're doing what they want you to do. So you're under them. They have employed you or something. Yeah.
You've mentioned you do pageantry, right?
Yeah.
And with pageantry, we see most models, things change as per event.
Yes.
And in every event, it means that you need to work with plenty of designers. You need to engage with a lot of designers. So how do you look for designers? How do you poach designers? And how do you create a relationship with them to be able to work with them through your entire modeling career?
Okay, as a model, first of all, you make sure you attend most of these events, these modeling events. Even if you're not contesting, just go and attend, because in that way, that is when you meet these designers, because most of them attend the events. And when you meet them, talk to them, try and get their numbers, look for them, because you're the one who needs their help. If I know I have an upcoming event and there's this event that is happening before my event, I'll go and attend and try to get numbers of designers, because they're always there. And then we have social media. It really helps, because you can search them. They're all there in social media, and follow them and ask them to help you. Yeah.
Speaking of social media, you said social media is what will sell you and all that, yeah? But how do you package yourself as a model? How do you sell your brand to the world out there as a model?
Yeah, in general.
You can give us two perspectives, one on social media and one now out there.
Okay, in social media.
Because I believe the way people see you on social media should be almost the same as how you portray yourself out there.
Yeah. Go to shoots, photo shoots, post them, tag people, just have an account that is active. That's all for social media. Go to these events, post yourself in the runways, modeling and all that. And in our daily lives, go to events, I guess. Let people, as in you have friends, send your friends who believe that you're a model. Use them for people to know.
So far, what are the downsides you've experienced in the modeling career?
Okay, for an event, a runway event, for ladies and even for gents, it's really expensive. So you have to, you're going for an event, you're contesting, not even sure you're gonna win. It's expensive because you have to look for makeup artists. You have like 6 categories. You have to get all the wares, and maybe sometimes it's hard. And then, yeah, that is one of the challenges. It's really expensive. And then sometimes you feel like you wanna give up.
Why? What leads you to wanting to give up?
You go to an event, ama you go for auditions, unafika unapata everyone has a perfect work, and you just like, wow, what am I even supposed to do here? Like you feel like you're the only person who doesn't have a perfect work.
I remember the first time I did my audition, the first ever audition I ever attended. I think it was in 2015 or 2016. And I had 0 experience, like you said. I had 0 experience, and everyone knew what shoes to bring. And I remember that particular time, I didn't even have a good pair of heels to wear. So I quickly thrifted a pair, and I went for the modeling auditions. I didn't even test the shoes, by the way. I didn't even test the shoes. Long story short, I fell, and everyone, I was the laughing stock. I had a bad walk. I fell, but for some reason I made it. I threw away. I really wish I kept those shoes. So I understand what you mean. I fell. I didn't test those shoes. I just nilizipima where I bought them, nilizipima, and that was it. Nikaziweka kwa bag na nikaenda audition Saturday. Nikazivaa, and the heel was very unstable. And you know, you're shaking, you're trembling, you're nervous, you're anxious, you're shaking. Everyone is looking at you. I did my I don't know how I can explain. The runway was looking like this. It was looking like an L, like a double L. Yeah. So I made the first one. When I was turning to do the second one, I fell. And that is where my journey started.
Okay, but one thing I was told when we were training, the heels that you're using for training, make sure you go with them to the runway.
No one taught me that.
Yeah, I understand, with the way. I understand for you. Yeah, it was a new experience.
Which brings me to a question. So what are the requirements? Like for those people who want to be models. Like personally, no one taught me that I need to have a blocked heel and it should be firm. In fact, do not buy a thrifted shoe. If possible, buy a brand new shoe for matters stability. No one taught me that. But then, where do people get this information when you're getting into runway? How do you find this kind of information? Like, these are the shoes you wear, this is how you do it. Do people watch? Where do people get all this information from? Trainings and all that?
Social media. Kwanza YouTube has very good tutorials. They teach you like on everything that you require. And before you even start modeling, you have to do a research. Yeah, I don't know why you did not do that.
No one told me. No, I had no one to teach me that.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, for people now, at least you know. Like right now, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
very many years later, about 7-8 years later, is when I'm finding out I should have done research.
Okay, yes. But for someone who's starting, like, do a research. Meet these models and ask them, what is it that I am required to have before I go to train before I even go to a runway.
All right. Thank you. As we wind up, what do we expect from you in the oncoming months, days, weeks as a model?
Well, this year I've only contested for 2 events, and as I said, I have just started modeling, and so far it has been great and it has been okay. For next year, I'm coming all out. Like next year is I'm gonna contest for so many things. I'm now gonna put myself out there. Like I'm going all out. Yeah, I'm gonna contest for so many events. I'm gonna do so many projects. So help me God, and you know, having friends who support you and all that. I am grateful because my friends are the best. They've been supporting me since I started. Actually, after I contested for Mr. and Miss Thika Technical, I didn't win, and I was so disappointed because nilikuwa like so overexcited about myself, and I didn't win. I even said I'm quitting modeling. That's it. Like I've done it and I'm not modeling again. But now my friends pushed me to contest for Mr. and Miss Peace, and that is where I won the title. And as in, I am grateful for that. Next year, I want their support because I'm going all out, and so help me God.
Right, we wish you nothing but the very best. And moving forward, maybe you can give us a pattern shot, even maybe to upcoming models and to the people who look up to you.
So to everyone watching this and to those upcoming models, believe in yourself. Like, believe in yourself. You can do anything you put yourself to do. Watch videos, watch tutorials, do research, and have friends who support you. Yeah, and you'll do it. Anyone can be a model. Just be sure which modeling you want to do. There's commercial, there's runway, there's high fashion. Just do your research and be contented in what you want to do. Yeah, and all the best.
Right, what do we get on social media?
Instagram at _Rachel, Facebook at Azinat_Rachel.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
time and even sharing with us your knowledge. We appreciate it.
Thank you too.
Do not touch that dial. We will be coming back to you after this short break.
Hygiene entails processes such as hand washing, which is important to prevent oral fecal diseases such as cholera and respiratory diseases such as COVID-19.
And hand washing is just the process of removing dirt from our hands. It's very important when we cough. In our fundamental teaching as young people, like young children, when we are coughing, we put our hands there. When we are sneezing, we put our hands there. And when we blow our noses, it is very critical so that we can protect other people from respiratory infections, that we clean our hands time, now, and often.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box, just name them.
Pull up in a beam, too much, too clean, and tall. Aye, don't foster, serious and not a big time player. Trip too big and ganja. I went flexer, Tina said gym, too hot.
The show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you. Let's be fit.
Big and ganja. I went flexer, Tina said gym, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. I'm very young, liquor, Shay's told me picture.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Sasa sote tuko sawa, nchi moja yenye usawa, tunasonga mbele pamoja. Nobody's left behind. One love, one people, sustainable health for everyone. NHIF inafaidi jamii, strong as one, strong as one. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo, afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. Usawa ni umoja, usawa ni upendo, afya bora bila ubaguzi. UHC Supercover. NHIF.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to
Children's Corner.
Children's
Corner.
Welcome back. It's been quite an eventful morning. Thank you so much for sticking with us up until now. Thank you for tuning in, sending in your feedback. I totally appreciate that. We started off with a conversation on gender-based violence. We are on day 13 on the hashtag 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We are coming to an end on Saturday the 10th, which is in like the next 2 days. What have you learned for the past 16 days? We've had a couple of episodes in regards to the hashtag 16 days of activism. What have you learned? What have you done to make the society a better place, especially as a young person? Today we're looking at ending gender-based violence, especially amongst the youth. The things you can do considered. I said the youth are the backbone of the society. You have the time, you have the energy, you have the strength, you have the voice. You have everything it takes to make the society a better place. I talked about, we had a conversation earlier, and we looked with Wesley and we looked at the things you can do as a young person, the things you can go against. Causes of gender-based violence amongst the youth, we have peer pressure, we have traditions, we have drugs and substance abuse, we have depression, we have social media, some of the things that cause gender-based violence. So what can you do to not succumb to those things? What can you do to be against all these things? How do you avoid peer pressure? How do you avoid drugs and substance abuse? How do you filter what you consume from social media? How do you filter what you consume from the TV? How do you go against drug and substance abuse? Like I said earlier, some of the things you can do. And I also looked at some tips in regards to making the world a better place as a young person. I'll add just 2 more. Create safe spaces to discuss gender-based violence. Create clubs, societies, and groups where you can openly discuss your views and experiences, as well as support your peers. Be a safe space. Be that person that a victim can come talk to. Create a safe space whereby people can address gender-based violence, even if it's a man, especially for the men. It's easier for the children and women to talk about it, but men don't really talk about gender-based violence. So create a safe space whereby young men can talk about gender-based violence. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to voice up and talk about your problems. You're not being weak when you speak about the things you've gone through. You're not being, a nobody if you voice. Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, because if you voice, if you talk about it, makes it easier to find solutions. And finally, confront and reflect on your ideas and beliefs. Reflect on your beliefs, actions, and opinions, and why you have them. Be honest, admit to your faults, and commit to changing the way you think and act. This especially goes with peer pressure and traditions. You've been taught traditions, you've been told this is how women behave, this is how men behave, but then confront and reflect. Why? Why did they say what they said? Why did they choose to decide that men should batter women because they're more powerful? Why do women treat men the way they do? Because they are the pillars of the house. You get? So confront and reflect on your ideas. We have come to the end of the conversation for today. Make sure you break the silence. Do not be a bystander and do not be an enabler. Speak about it. Confront your perpetrator. Do not be a bystander. Break the silence. Talk about it. Let the world know that he or she is a perpetrator. Do not stand there and say, si hawa wawili wanapendana. Mambo ya watu wawili usiingilie. Hivyo ndivyo watu wanarudishwa kwao na body bag. And you had a chance to say something about it. So, you can send in your opinions. You can also tell us the tips you have in regards to ending gender-based violence. This coming Saturday is the last day. So, pick up your phone and Google what activities are there on the 10th of December in regards 2, ending gender-based violence, and make sure you participate in the one that favors you and the one that pleases you. You can tell us on our social media platforms which one you'll be participating in. Conversation can definitely continue at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. You can follow me in my personal handles at Wangari Gikunda across all social media platforms. I really do hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your time. The show does not end here. I'll see you tomorrow evening on Beyond Limits at 8:30 p.m. Makala ya TBT in the morning by Ojwang Mariam, and Entertainment Friday by Emperor Shaker. Monday, Art and Culture, Karen Blessing, and Tuesday we have Richard Okenya, Biashara Tuesday. I have been your host, Nina Ikuna. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the camera team, our director, Shukran Sana. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe.